All right, a beautiful welcome to Women's Corner. It's exciting to be here again, and of course, today is a Tuesday. It's going to be fun. Yesterday, we talked about something very interesting, and that's toxic feminism. And I'm sure a lot of people got one or two ideas on how to do it right, even if you have to be a feminist. Okay, so today I have an amazing guest with me, and of course, I have Zoom guests that will be joining us because today we're talking about building self-esteem amidst abusive relationship. No matter the kind of relationship you have, you just still have to build your self-esteem. And yes, we're picking it out from the part. It's not just about building your self-esteem, but if you're in an abusive relationship, abusive marriage, how do you still build your self-esteem and know what to do rightly? Do not forget that Women's Corner run through from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday. And if you don't have a TV screen beside you, all problems solved. We have a solution. You can go through our social media platforms at Galaxy Television on Facebook and Twitter. Just type in Galaxy Television and you can watch us live. Also, you can download Galaxy Television app from Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. Just watch any of our programs live. Don't miss this one. Very soon, we're still trying to put an open line where people can call in, ask questions and questions relating to what we're saying or share your story. As time goes on, we'll definitely have a spot for you. We'll try to manage our time as much as possible. So before I introduce my guest for today, let's go on a short break. And right after that short break, we'll be here again to discuss what self-esteem, building self-esteem, it's your abusive relationship. We'll be right back after the short break. Alright, welcome back. Yeah, so I'm gonna start back. Usually I start with my Zoom guests, but this time around let me start with my in-house guests. And that's because there's a story to it. Last time she came, she was thinking she's the owner of Lagos Road. She just came in the way she wanted to come. And thank God they didn't turn her to the hitman in Lagos State. She had to make it to the studio eventually. But today, she said, I'm coming early today because I have to leave my house early today. And she did it on time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And of course, my guest name is Adekunle. She's a gospel artist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a writer and a producer. She's an author. Also, she's a talking drummer. I was to bring a drum, but no, let's not do that. She's also a choir doctor, which I'm going to ask her at the end of the program. What does it mean to be a choir doctor? I don't know what that means. She's also a vocalist. So yes, it's good to have you, Adekunle, on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Amazing. So I'm going to start with my Zoom. I'm going to go first to my Zoom guest, and of course, so I have Rosemary Adejumo. She's an author. She's a philanthropist. She's a speaker, a marriage counselor, an entrepreneur too, and the founder of Foodport International. Also, the founder of Rosemary Chinyere and Chibuzo Foundation. It's good to have you, Rosemary. Hi. Good morning. Rosemary, hi, good morning. I'm greeting you. Can you hear me? I hope Rosemary can hear us. Unmute your mic if you know you can hear me. Rosemary, good morning. You can see her sitting pretty. That's her there. Let's move over to the next guest is Queen Joy Adiola Oluyege. She's the creative director of Georgetown Castle, and she's an inspirational speaker, an entrepreneur also. She's the most beautiful girl in Ogun State as of 2019 and the Miss Economic World as of 2022. She's also a women advocate because she's always interested to talk about women and educate women. Good morning, Queen Joy. How are you doing this morning? To go straight, we're talking about building self-esteem amidst abusive relationship. Now, my first question to you, Cheryl, is when it comes to abusive relationship, we know that is one of the things that break us down as women.
Yes.
And abusive relationship, like we have said in some time past, is it could come as an emotional abuse, it could come as a physical abuse,
Yes.
it could come mental abuse. Sometimes stress, can add some ways, even you not to even know you're abusing yourself,
Yes.
because you can actually abuse yourself
Yes.
when you don't do self-care or self-love.
Yes.
Now, the first thing is, how do you actually know that this abusive relationship, which of course a lot of people don't even believe that when they abuse, their self-esteem is being, tampered
Yes.
on,
Yes.
or whatever core value they have about themselves is being, dropped.
Yes. Yes.
Now, how do people get to identify that, at this point, this abusive relationship, this attitude, that attitude is affecting my self-esteem, and I need to build myself right back on track? What are the signs, or what are the things that they will notice that they have to, work on themselves?
All right, thank you very much. There are a number of things, but I'll just mention probably 2 or 3. Yes, one of the things that you will notice is if you are a kind of person that seems to not be comfortable to face the crowd, or not comfortable to handle certain tasks with confidence outside, then if you are to search deep inside of you, you can tell that you've been abused and you need to build your self-esteem back. Another thing is, if you're the kind of person that you find yourself always scared, either to be around the opposite sex, that is if you have been involved in the kind of abuse that has to do with a romantic abuse, or shall I say a marital abuse, if you are married or in a particular relationship with the opposite sex. So you are likely to be the type of person that you are scared to be around men. Then if you are the type that yours is from parental abuse, you see that even if it's just a friend, let's say for example now, I just want to reach out for your earring because I like you, and say, oh wow, you're right, but you'll be thinking I want to give you a hit. So there's a reaction that comes with that. I can tell that you've gone through 1 or 2 things. You understand? Then another thing will also be if you start feeling like you don't think you are good enough, let me use that word, to get anything done, even if you are getting accolades from people that, oh, I really like the way you did this, I like the way you did that, instead of you to accept those compliments, there's just the way you say, I don't think I'm that good, or maybe this person is just pulling my legs. You can tell that you've been abused, and you need to work on your self-esteem so you can get back on your feet. So I
like that one. I like what you just said. Especially some people don't even know when involuntarily they react to things. You just probably want to touch them, like, you look so pretty.
The reaction.
And they kind of, which
tell.
shows that, okay, something is happening to your self-esteem.
Yes.
And also, do you think from this angle, do you think it's part of the self-esteem? I want to ask you.
Yes.
Now, there are some persons that you compliment, you understand?
Yes.
You tell them you're pretty, you're beautiful. Oh, I love your shirt.
Yes.
Oh, I love what you're wearing. And this response from women, you get to see someone, they'll be like, I
this
even
one?
bought it, it's even okay, I even bought it, let's say 200 naira on the street,
Yes.
And you see their shoes, say, it's even my sister that gave me
borrowed
the shoe.
me.
Do you think that kind of response is another way of trying to tell you that you have a problem with your self-esteem?
Yes, because even if you borrowed a shoe from somebody, you understand, although I don't really expect that you go to that extent, I expect that you should be content
with
what you get contented with whatever it is that you have. However, even if you find yourself, the normal answer that you should give if somebody gives you a compliment is, oh, thank you, and probably find something else that you can compliment that particular person. It's not even just about the look, it even goes as far as your performance. Let's say, for example, you are the kind of person that maybe you're like a singer, or maybe even like you, for example, that you're a presenter, and I said, wow, I like the way you present. I've seen a lot of presenters, but there's something unique about it. The natural thing to say is, oh, thank you so much, or something like that. But the next thing will be, oh, this is even my first time, or I didn't really do much, I wasn't really prepared. All those stories, they are not necessary if you are really confident in yourself. So that is also another signal that you've been through certain things. You don't really believe in yourself, you don't believe that you can do much, or probably you grew up with somebody consistently telling you that whatever you do is not okay.
It's not okay.
Yeah, whatever you do, there's nothing good really. There's nothing to celebrate. There's always a fault with whatever you do. So you tend to feel, well, there's no. That's why I mentioned earlier from the beginning that you don't feel that confidence to face the crowd or feel confidence to do anything, because you feel this fear of they might tell me I didn't do it well. It's going to be behind your head. They might say I didn't do it well, I might not do it well. I don't think I'm even good enough. So those are just one of those things.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that one. I'm going to ask my Zoom guest now, Rosemary Adejuma. I'm going to ask you this question. Now, she said something. She said some people don't take compliments well. Whenever you compliment them, they always have this excuse of, okay, this your hair is pretty, and they start telling you it's not even expensive. I just bought it. So, and she just said something. It's just, could I use the word, permit me to use the word symptom of, when you have self-esteem issues. Somebody has trampled upon your self-esteem, so you don't believe in yourself. You don't even believe you can be that pretty or that good enough to take such compliments. Now, when it gets to this point, now we've agreed that that is a problem of self-esteem. Now, when a woman is at that point of you don't know how to receive compliments, people say, oh, you're looking pretty, I like your skirt, and you don't know how to say thank you. Rather, you even complain and make them feel like it's no big to be like this. You can't even take compliments to heart and appreciate such compliments. At that point, we know there's an abuse somewhere, maybe from the parent or from the spouse or maybe colleague or something. Now, at this point, what do you advise a woman to do to at least, I know it's difficult because it's like an involuntary thing. You don't even know when they do it. You're so pretty, I like your lipstick. Oh, I haven't bought this 200 naira. I bought it, should I buy it for you? It's involuntary. They don't know they are doing it at times. Now, what would you advise such a woman at that stage of not even understanding that she's pretty, she's good enough, and she can't even take compliment from people? How do you think she can work around these things to build her self-esteem again?
Okay, thank you very much, Blossom. As she rightly said, is an abuse that has taken place over a long period of time. Like, it can be from the family, it can be from the colleague, it can be from your partner. You've been made to believe that you're not good enough. You've been made to believe that no, you are not, you can't measure up, you are not one of those people that they are talking to. So it will also take time. We don't expect such person to just begin to accept compliments easily like that. It's really going to be hard because for a greater part of your life, you've been put down, you've been told that you're not good enough, all that. So I will advise such a person. It's not going to be an instantaneous thing, believe me, it's going to take time. So I will advise that person to start to talk to people, maybe seek help. In this part of the world, I mean Nigeria here, seeing a therapist is not a common thing that you can actually come across unlike the developing. But it starts with, it actually starts with making up your mind, knowing that you deserve it, knowing that you really, there's a problem somewhere and you want to work on it. Because the mindset is very, very important. And when you made up your mind that, okay, this is low self-esteem and I want to work on it, then you begin to speak to probably counselors or people you look up to that have confidence, that knows, you can talk to them that you have a problem and they will begin to work with you. You will start by reading books, listening and watching people you look up to. And when such compliment comes like that, you believe that you are worth everything, every compliment that you get. So you begin by accepting it. Stop making excuses. Stop telling them the price. Stop telling them that it's just 200 naira or it's just, oh, I just picked it up in this. Learn to accept thank you. But like I said, it starts with you making up your mind that, no, I don't work on this thing. Then speak to someone. Read books. Do things that will build up your self-esteem. Look good within your means. Do things that build you up, that begin to take up your self-esteem, and before you know it, you begin to accept compliments when they come. You begin to believe in yourself when things that go out of your way and try something, you succeed in that thing. You begin to build yourself up that, oh, I can do this thing, I'm actually worth this and that. So that's one of the steps to start working on it. And before you know it, you will align and you will come back to building yourself. It takes time, but trust every process and every effort you put in is worth celebrating. So that is what I would advise of the person.
Okay, thank you very much. Now you've just answered my question, and that question is directed when you're still in a relationship, or you're not taking it. The parents are not giving you, your spouse is not giving you that compliment.
Okay.
But you still in that relationship, these are the things you need to do. I want to take it out of the relationship.
Okay.
Let's assume you're now out of that abusive relationship whereby he's not complimenting you. It's a different ball game. When you're still in, I feel like there's still a little bit of ways you can, kind of fix, even though it will take time. But when somebody leaves lives with that mentality.
Yes.
And you're trying to put it to the person, but there's a past. There's something that will always drag the person back and like,
Yes.
no, he's not saying I'm pretty. So why did he leave? Why did he do all of that? You know, it keeps trying to set you back to the default of, you know, you're not pretty. Now, so I'm gonna ask Queen Joy. In marriage, there is a way you can go about it, whereby, you know, like she said, you can see a therapist, you know, you talk to a therapist, you and your spouse will talk to the therapist and all of that. Now, there's a different thing when the person comes out. Sometimes, when they come out of that marriage or abusive relationship, they end up not wanting to talk to anybody because they believe, okay, I've escaped him. He's not going to do anything to me. Or maybe it's their family, they are not staying with the family anymore. Oh, I've escaped my family, so there's no problem. But without realizing that, it's still inside of you. Whatever abuse effect it had on you, the effect is still there, and you still have to handle it. And if you don't handle it, it's your call, and you take it as a baggage into the next relationship. And if you're not careful, the person will even be the abusive person. You become the abuser. Because when the person is not complimenting you because he knows how to compliment, or the marriage you enter, the person knows how to compliment, children how to compliment, but because from the past one, you believe don't compliment me, and you tell them, come on, go, why are you complimenting me? Or you compliment you and you look at him weird like, why are you complimenting me? You understand? So at this point now, when a woman leaves a relationship or a marriage out of abuse, how do you think a woman should be able to build back her self-esteem? Because at that point, most women don't talk to anybody anymore. They just want a new man, a new relationship, probably a new marriage, or they just want to be on their own. Now, how do they view themselves even outside of the relationship or marriage? Joy, Queen Joy, this one is for you, please. Queen Joy, do we still have Queen Joy there? Okay, since Queen Joy is not here, she already told me about her network, hoping that the network will not mess up. So I'm going to permit her. Hopefully she comes back again. Let me ask Rosemary. You heard the question and you already answered that. Answered the one in the relationship. Now, outside of the relationship, what do you think a woman should do with all I've explained?
Outside the relationship, I would advise that you don't rush and get into another relationship. Because the trauma the triggers are already in your system, and you jumping up to another relationship will make you, like you rightly said, the abuser now. So and like you rightly said, some of them will just recline and just don't want to talk to anybody. It's okay, whatever, because people respond to things in different ways. You can go in, take all of it, and take your time, heal before now start examining yourself. Look inward. What were those areas you made mistakes when you went into that relationship? Is it because you went into it out of pressure? You certainly would have seen some red flags before you went into it. You don't make such mistakes. And some of you going to marriages because of low self-esteem. So they feel that they are not good enough. So any man that comes with all the red flags, they still jump in and go. So talk to yourself, calm down. Take it all in and be understand, okay, where and where did I go wrong? What and what we're not supposed to be. Then when you have now, talk to yourself, you are out of it, then you start making the right choices. Okay, if you don't want to go into a relationship again or marriage, it's okay. Begin to discover yourself. What are my passion? What are those things that I love before I entered into that marriage? What were those visions that I wanted to achieve before this? You begin to, is it to start a new business? Is it self-care? Is it to learn a skill? Is it to do, just go into yourself, find yourself first, find peace with yourself, be good, be at a good place with yourself, whatever you are doing, before you will be emotionally and psychologically stable enough to be able to either go into another marriage or relationship, or you move on with your life. So I would advise such person, when you start the healing process, look into what you love to do. That thing that you have always wanted to do, that gives you joy. Go out, socialize with people, go to dinner, take yourself out, meet with those people that your interests are. Discover yourself first. Be good before you now think of going into, and don't take those things. When you see red flags or people around trying to put you down, or the things you suffered in your previous relationship, walk out on it. And then, like I said, healing takes time, and no That's all
right.
we want.
Thank you very much. So invariably, when people are saying to themselves, you know, after the relationship or while still in a relationship, if they are telling themselves, I should be able to toughen up, I can build it on my own, I can build my self-esteem on their own, it's something that should be a no-no. They need to talk to someone, right? Is that what you're saying? There's nothing like toughening yourself up and dealing with it yourself, right?
Yeah, in the beginning, when I say work on yourself, it's not like I'm toughening myself up so that I'll be able to get across or against any other person. No. Talk, of course, during your healing process, you need to talk to someone. Like I said, be around those people who love you, those people who can help you through. There are some pastors that are really gifted in that. There are counselors. There are even older friends or friends that are more mature or that have been through what you have been through, what you're currently going through, that can take you by the hands and walk you through. And like I also said, you can also look within you. It's not about feeling toughened up or so. Just look within you and see those things you have passion for, or those things that make you happy. Then concentrate on them. Concentrate on loving people. Those things you never got in your relationship, your marriage. Begin to love on someone. Help people out of their situation. Make people's life better. Just go on and do something that will take your time, your attention, your emotions off the things that you have been through. And then you will know when you get to that place, when you feel that you are okay, you are confident in yourself, and never you treat other people the way you have been treated. Do not let the cycle continue. And I tell you, at some point you find peace with yourself, and then you can now say, okay, I'm psychologically stable enough now. Maybe to go into another relationship or to continue with what I'm doing. So you really cannot bottle it alone, because if you bottle it all up, one day you will bust and you're going to unleash it on people. So you can talk to people who can walk with, not just anybody. Talk to people who can walk you through it, and also find yourself. You discover yourself and do what you love. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. I love that one. I guess Joy Network is not bringing her back anytime soon, which of course, like I said, she already apologized ahead because her network on where she's calling from. So anyways, like she answered the fact whereby you can't toughen up yourself and say you want to do better self-esteem. Now there's also this this talk we women also say most of the times, just to, I don't know if it's to condone the abuse from our partner or from our family members, I don't know, from whoever is abusing us. I don't know if it's part of the statement, but what would you have to say about someone who says, I think I'm just being too sensitive and too dramatic. Maybe I just need to drop my drama and I just need to stop being too sensitive with everything he says, everything he does. I just need to mature and mature up. And you hear some people will tell you, grow up, you're not a child. Be better. You understand? Okay. What's your reaction to that statement? Now, a man can tell you grow up, knowing that he's probably abusing you one way or the other. Or a woman can even say to herself, she knows the man is abusing, but she tends to want to be the one to withdraw back and say, no, I think I'm being too sensitive. I think I'm being too dramatic. Let's just allow him have his way. What would you say about that?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not really about that you are being too sensitive, or like the other case where you said that person expects you to grow up and off. There's nothing to really grow up, if you ask me, because the person already knew you were before they married, so that's not the issue yet. So I think the issue is that self-esteem has been beaten down so low that you feel this is it. I think I should just go and I can't get anything better than this. I think that is what is in that person's mindset. So please stop saying that to yourself. There's nothing like you are too sensitive. This is who you are. This is what you want or deserve. You have a right to make that known. You have a right to have that. So if that person is now unable to give you that, doesn't necessarily mean that's the definition of what you're supposed to have in life. Okay. Now, for example, now if you're saying maybe this is what it should, this is where it should be, or we have to usually think that it comes out from women who think, if I should actually go against this, or actually take my stand, I don't have a solution. Let's take, for instance, now, let's say it's a financial abuse, and you feel, okay, if this person keeps treating me this way, if I should own up to the fact that this is not acceptable, maybe he was giving you little, maybe this person might just stop giving you at all, and then I won't be able to cope. So let me just, I'm too sensitive. That's what comes in. That's not the solution. The solution here is, like somebody was once with me some time ago. is that if you are trying to say this is, although we are talking about the relationship between man and woman now, if it's between man and woman, for example, if the situation is not physical abuse or domestic violence, for example, if the situation is you getting something, I don't think in the first place your initial purpose of getting married to the person is to make that person to make you whole. Expect from the very beginning that you should be whole, married to somebody else who is whole, then together you produce another generation of whole people. So usually this comes when you were coming as, like I was going to say from the beginning when you were asking the question, that it's not just about abuse between man and woman. There's also the one between parents and children. Now, even though we are focusing on women now, even the same woman we're talking about, if you trace back to when she was a child, that abuse, the effect of it is what was brought into the marriage. So it explains why you were not whole when you marry and why you can accept any nonsense, as the case may be, if you permit me to use that word, right? So if, for example, you grew up as a child and you were made to believe that there's nothing that you do that is ever right. Now you came with that half mentality of yourself, you now joined yourself with a man who probably noticed that in you because it's noticeable. That's what you don't know, no matter why you hide it. So maybe that person notices, and since that person is an abuser, takes advantage of that, your lack of knowledge of knowing it through you, and then they use it against, then you join force with him, and in addition to what's coming from the past, and then you agree. So that does not mean that is who you are. That is not who you are. So you have the right to build your self-esteem back. If the person you are married to unfortunately can't help you with that, like our guest on Zoom said, you can get help. However, I want to add to what she said that you should be able to talk to somebody depending on the kind of abuse, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, or as the case may be. Some people might not find it so easy to trust anybody that easily. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. To trust somebody, to talk to somebody about it's not as simple as we are saying it. So some people might not be able to trust somebody that, even if you can't trust to talk to somebody, there are materials that you can work on, that you can read. However, in this our age, technology has made things better. It wasn't like years back. So there are channels online that is like what they are working on. You can listen to all those stuff and because the first thing is to shift your mentality. That mentality has to shift before you now start doing anything that you want to do. All this mixing with people, surrounding yourself with people that are positive about you, who believe in the positive side of you. When you keep hearing that over and over again, then you get better. But no ever accept that is the way it should be. Just because you don't. No.
So there's no excuse of toughen up. There's no excuse of sensitive. There's no excuse of I'm being dramatic. No. You just have to make sure it is right for yourself and you do it.
Yes.
Now you said something, I was going to go there, but since you chip it in, so I'm going to put it in. Now for children are as more like, I would say they are helpless, you understand? They can't really stand on their 2 feet at that point because we call them children. Now we're talking about the young, very young ones. Now we've seen situations whereby parents even abuse their children. Every little thing they are up on the road, and the next English they will speak to you, they start quoting the Bible. It says, spare the rod to spoil the child. Not knowing that it's not every time you make the rod. You know, it will get to a point. I've seen children growing up. They'll say, what's there? My father will just flog me. There's nothing there. Whereas they're already used to it. You understand? You see some of them, they have the max. They say, this one, I remember when my father beat. And that is not what it should be. That's an abuse. Now at that point, that child that is being caned that way, what is the assurance that that person, a girl or a boy, goes into a relationship and does not abuse the woman or does not even abuse the guy? Because they believe the only way to correct a child, and that is the only way you have seen his parents correct them, or even correct the mother, or the mother will shout at the father, why are you doing this? Just to correct the father. Now this for children. At that point, I know it's a bit difficult and a bit dicey for a child to do that. But if a child has gone through that and is growing up, maybe still in a relationship, still trying to fathom what exactly is wrong with her relationship. Every time she's in a relationship, it seems there's an abuse. Somebody is hitting her from somewhere. Somebody is not just appreciating her. Somebody is not just seeing her for who she is, or seeing him for who he is. You understand? In fact, it has gotten to the point that sometimes, you see some men who are emotional. You see their own fellow men be telling you, guy, you are weak. Stop being weak. My guy, my man, you are weak. Stop being weak. At that point, not knowing that something went on somewhere and got them, not that they are weak. It just made them that particular kind of person. Now at this point, I want to ask Rosemary, you are already grown, not maybe well of age, but you're still, developing. Is this something you can still easily work on and change whatever situation you are? What do you think they should do? Even as a child, what do you think a child in that situation situation should do, even before getting to the age of knowing, this is how I'm supposed to be treated and this is not how I'm supposed to be. What do you think a child should do at that point?
Okay, thank you. The thing is, a child is a child. A child does not know if a child is a child. A child doesn't know if you're being abused or not. You just grow up in a place and you think that your family, your nuclear family, is the first people that you really know is growing up, and you just believe that everything that is going on in your family is the right thing to do. But you find that, but when these children socialize with other children and they are getting to see the way that these children are being treated by their parents, and then they know that something is wrong. Let me give you an instance. When I was, like, the family I came from is a family of my friends celebrators. Any achievement, whether you're the best or you're next to the best, they encourage you, they celebrate you, they talk, they compliment myself as over the road. In fact, I was even having issues with my colleagues because it said confidence and all. So I got into the university and I met this friend of mine. My parents come to see me in school every weekend. I mean, every weekend, and they bring things for me. They love me, and they listen. She's from a very, very, very wealthy home, and she said one day my friend, she was crying. She said that it is when she died and they called her parents that come and carry a dead body. That's the only thing that made her parents do, because her mother is floating everywhere, doing business. Her father is also does not care and all that. They just believe that you give them money. And that while she was growing up, she didn't have this stuff. And I still believe these things were affecting her in school. That if any guy just gets to tell her, you're looking good, you're looking good, she gets like, it's like she has not heard it before. And I see her falling and doing some certain things just because of the lack of that love and affirmation and the abuse she suffered at home. But thank God that was in my life. I started working on at the end of the day, it was not easy, but I was able to help her to the extent that this is somebody that attempted suicide several times in school, if not that she's close to me. So for such children that are under their parents and they are still very young, the thing is just let them keep growing, and with time, this is the jet age where children are exposed to at some certain age the internet and the rest of them. So the only thing is just that they can just get to the sunlight, read them, and then try to emulate from people other children that came from a balanced home and all that. So when they get to that age where they can stay on their own or out of their parents, they get to imbibe these things that they make up their mind that the abuse that they suffered from their own parents, they're not going to transfer it to their own. They don't do better when they are married or their relationship with their peers, with their colleagues at work. Just try and ensure that, okay, this is what I suffered at home growing up. I'm not doing a relationship or not that. So for those children, there's not really nothing much because they are very aware, unlike in our days. But now they have access to internet, they can read, they see things around, so they can begin to work on themselves so that they will be better people. There are a lot of them they know that these things, this is abuse. And they are very aware, and that is the step in the right direction, because for you to know means that you can actually work on yourself and actually correct the thing and be a better person than what is going on. So that is what I would say to the children that are being abused. But if that abuse is physical, because in school now they talk to them, if it's like a physical abuse or a sexual abuse and the rest of them, of course they are being taught in school, in church, to speak up. They can talk to their teachers if the teacher is very close. Like my kids, they tell their teacher virtually everything because they are close to them. You can talk to your teacher, you can go to your pastor, you can talk to somebody in your environment, maybe a close friend of your mom. You can even trust, if it's your dad that is abusing, you can trust the mom to talk to your mom. And if it's both of them, just look for somebody out there that you can cry to. That's it. Like me, I talk to my kids because I have made living with us and all that. So I thought if this happens, talk to your mom. And please, parents should do this. And no matter the money and all that we're looking for, let's get close to our children. Let's be able to talk to them. Find time to communicate with them. You'll be surprised at a lot of things that they will tell you
very much for that one. I like the angle you brought us at from when jet age and all of that. But I want to take us a little bit back because we know that we have a very high percentage of poverty in Nigeria. And you know, when we have a high percentage of poverty, it means technology has not gotten so advanced in everywhere like we think. You know, somewhere in Kano with some young boys, teenagers, you know, in secondary school. Maybe let's just say they should be in secondary school, but obviously they are not in school. You know, during the time of protest, some of them had they loot a lot of things. They said a lot of things. So we saw some of them that, you know, took the POS, you know, POS machine and all of that. And you found out that some of them were using POS machine to snap. Now, when I went through the comment section, my first question was, I didn't even know POS machine has a camera. That's because I already have a phone. So why am I looking for a camera in the POS machine? But yeah, they were using the POS to, you know, snap themselves. And people are like, see, as much as you think we're developed here, there's some certain places that don't even have, they still use all these touchlight phones, those small phones to snap themselves. Now, this is because they don't even have the technology. Now, imagine that kind of area. A child is being abused. There's no technology. You don't know what to do. And most of the times you find out that most of them, they run away from home. And they get into the bad gang. Let me use that word. They learn the bad things. They you know, they start, I feel like these are one of the people that start going into, permit me to use the word LGBTQ and all of that. They start doing some certain weird things. Yes, we have some people who are well trained, well groomed, who still decide to be whoever they want to be. But I still believe that poverty is one of the biggest tools people, you know, use, or people are affected with, that end up at the wrong side of the circle. Now, at this point, I want to address the people who don't have this technology, who don't have people they can even talk to. Because if they go to that neighborhood and tell them that, see what my father is doing, see what my mother is doing, they will even beat you, draw your ear, take you back to your parents and see your child. This is where your child is spreading your name up and down and all of that. And before you know, you there, you're thinking you're going out for saving. You're back to square one, which is a problem. Now, the same thing applies to school. I want to ask you that one, Adigne. I'm just giving an example so you can know how to merge it together. Now, for people who go to school, yes, we'll see where we've seen some teachers abuse students. It's not just by flogging. Sometimes you can even, there's a way you disregard a child. Like, oh, this one does not know anything. If you want to sit in the front, go and sit at the back. You know, when it comes to assignments, you just feel the person does not know anything. Maybe because of the handwriting or something. And you just look, you can't say, you just mark the person down. Not knowing that the teaching has to do with a whole lot. It's not just about what the person wrote. It's how the person, you know, writes it. You know, I had a story when I was sharing with some people. I said, see, my handwriting and my siblings' handwriting were okay for us. You see it, you can read it. But as at SS3, my father was like, why would your writing be like this? Writing was good. Do you know at SS3, he had to get writing book. I don't know if we still even have that now. Writing book, where he started to see, I know you're grown, but I want you to be able to write properly and know how to write properly. You can even design your writing. You can have a particular kind of writing. Brought writing book and started teaching us. Now, for other schools, they will, you know, disregard you. They might not mark your papers well. They might mark you down. They might shift it to one corner and tell you, okay, I can't talk to you. Whatever complaint you want to have, they'll feel you don't even know anything. Not knowing that, it's not that you don't know anything, but nobody's focusing on your area of where you fail, so that they can brush you up so you can be amongst your peer. Now, I want you to address the school area whereby people can abuse a child, even that way, despite being in school to learn. And at the same time, in the part of poverty, how, just very quickly, because our time is already fast spent, how do you think parents, the society, the school, your friend's mother, your father, your uncle, your aunties, your siblings, how do you think we can help one another to make sure that this kind of abuse is reduced? Because these are one of the things that gradually reduces everybody's self-esteem and eventually gets into relationship. Sometimes we think we are the one being abused without knowing that we are the abuser. You know, that's even the bigger problem. You think they are the one abusing, but you are the abuser. That's a bigger problem. So it's because of the line of growth you have growing up as a child to adulthood. So you even become a narcissist. Sometimes you think you're perfect. You understand? So please, very quickly.
Okay, so what I would just say about the education section is this. Apart from even in the case of handwriting, like you said, some has to do with their personality. There are some children that are outspoken, some are not. And you think because one's outspoken, you just talk them down, shut them down. It's like after a while, such children start locking up, you know. They are not gentle kids, but they're now, so because a lot is being bottled up. So what I would say is this. As a teacher, even as a parent by extension, you should understand that all kids or people cannot be the same. Understand their uniqueness. Discover their strengths. When you now discover their weakness, it's not for you to manipulate them with it or to abuse them with it. It's for you to see how you can use your own strengths to help them to fix that weakness and be a better person. That's for the education section in summary. And as for those who are in the poor region of the world where technology is not something that they can really boast of, I was waiting to mention something like that, and I'm going to link them to that. They can link themselves to how it used to be back in the day when there's no technology at all. That's what I was going to say, because we are all talking about technology now. In those days, our mothers, there was nothing like that. But then, even though there was no technology, there's always one uncle, one good auntie, one good family friend, one good somebody somewhere, or pastor or whatever, that they can always talk to, that usually helps some of them out. So I feel the idea of you just running to any neighbor around is not the solution. It's about being smart about it. There are people that you can't, you must be observant. There are people you can't just talk to because they are connected to them. They share their same values, whether bad values or not. But there are people that know that they don't share their values, and not just the fact that they don't share their values. There are some, they don't share their values, but they are not wise. So you have to weigh both. Those who don't share that same bad values, and at the same time, those who are wise enough to manage the event, help you build your self-esteem and help you escape such as you grow older. And most importantly, how you don't grow up with that and transfer into the next relationship or to your own kid self when you get married. So those are the things I can just advise such people. Just the way it's done back then, they can work with that too.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, we'll be able to take so much again because of our time is already fast spent. At this point, I would like to appreciate my Zoom guest, Queen Joy, as already she just sent me a message telling me she's sorry, like she already warned the network was going to be a mess today. I would just appreciate, let me start with her. Of course, she was here, but you know, it's so sad she couldn't even say hi, good morning to us, but network had its way. But Queen Joy, thank you so much for trying to join us. At the same time, you were still with us watching the program all through. And I also want to appreciate Rosemary Adedmo. She's an author, she's a philanthropist, a speaker, a marriage counselor, entrepreneur, the founder of Food Port International, a founder of Rosemary Chinyere and Chibuzo Foundation. Thank you so much, Rosemary.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Can you wave us a bye like a normal ritual before we let you go? Can you wave? Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, that was an amazing section.